all this chatter. I'm so excited. So my name is Jessi Belcher. I am your Student Development Specialist for UWG Newton, your satellite location down in the Student Services Department. And I'm also your All Staff Committee Chair, which is why I'm here as your MC, pretending to be Dr. Legal and Dr. Whitaker, because they are tied up in the AVP interview that started super early this morning. Without further ado, first things first, if you're wondering why am I sitting at this table with some new folks and they gave me this little tiny number, those are both good thoughts. So hold on to those thoughts, and we're going to do an activity after our first speaker. So look forward to that. And in true Dr. Lingo fashion, if you are new to the division, we want to meet you. So if you're new, if you can, please stand. I know there's a few. Oh, wow! So if you could tell us your name. I know you gotta stay. There we go. Tell us your name, your previous institution, and your new role here at UWG.
Good morning, I'm James McIntyre. Oh, I was a therapist at Willowbrook, AHP, and I'm currently with the Counseling Center here on campus.
This room's getting smaller, or our team's just getting bigger.
Good morning, I'm J.L. Wyatt. I am coming to you from Gwinnett Technical College and I'm in Career Services.
Hello everyone, I'm Miguel Aguado. I'm coming from being a grad student over at Western Illinois University. I am working in housing as a resident coordinator over our review apartments and Titus Hall.
Okay, here we go. Good to see you. All right.
Hello everyone, my name is Elizabeth Reese. I'm actually a recent grad here at West Georgia and I'm in admissions.
My name is Emily Wurst. I'm also a recent graduate in May and I'm also in admissions now.
Welcome, welcome. We're so excited to have you here. All right, so today's topic revolves around the Wolf experience. Primarily, we're going to be hearing about two pilot programs that were launched last year. And so I think you'll all be excited to hear about those programs, what they look like now, as well as ways that you can get involved and contribute if you so choose. So our first guest is Dr. Ryan Bronkema, who is our assistant professor. It's a long title, here we go. Assistant professor, that too, professional counseling and college student affairs. So he's actually a professor for your college student affairs graduate students who may be working in your office. Yes, I see some claps, one of my own. And he's also the director of first year academic initiatives. So please give him a warm welcome.
Good morning. Thank you to Jessi for the introduction. So some of you have seen me here before, some of you were very very neutral about my last appearance. I hope I can do a better job this time. That's for Andy in the back. For those of you that have interacted with me before, I mostly used to teach in the College Student Affairs program. I will teach significantly less over there now and again, probably, maybe, sort of. But mostly I work with first year academic initiatives in partnership with the Provost Office and first year programs over in SAEM. So my role is new. So if you ask me what it is, I'm not sure, other than what I'm about to tell you. So this next 12 minutes is everything that I know about my new job. So you're going to get a quick orientation to this. So what I'm going to do is give you a quick overview of what we're doing in first year seminar this fall, because you all will interact with all the first year students in your roles in whatever capacity that is. And it's at least nice for you to know what they might be doing in their first year seminar. So at least you're kind of up to speed. So that's what I'm going to do, and I think I can do it pretty briefly. I will say, like, as a caveat, I want to give you some context about the shift of what used to be UWG 1101 first year seminar, so you're all kind of on the same page about where it came from and what happened. So as you're probably mostly aware, we're undergoing some sort of leap Liberal Education for America's Promise, reworking to some of the core curriculum in the Provost Office. And as a part of that, there was a symposium 2 years ago to sort of talk about what were the low-hanging fruit initiatives that we can do that are high-impact practices and known to be a good thing in higher education. And the first one that came up was first-year seminar, and looking at getting that moved to the core and getting that to have a more academic focus taught by faculty and things that they're interested in. So what I will say as a caveat is the shift to first-year seminar is no reflection of how UWG 1101 was managed, how well it was taught, and how students felt about it. So it wasn't that UWG 1101 was terrible and we decided to do something else. The reality was UWG 1101 was an extended orientation first-year seminar. So for those of you that are vaguely familiar with the course, it was a lot of things to help get students acclimated to campus, which is great in its own right. The problem is the system of Georgia does not allow those courses to be offered for core credit. So students were getting 2 credits that just kind of floated. And in some of the academic degrees at West Georgia, those credits would fall off because their degree was exactly the number of credits you needed to graduate. So students were paying for 2 credits that sometimes they didn't get to keep for anything. And that, I don't know, that just kind of feels funny. And so that has nothing to do with what the class was done, it's just the way the system is sort of organized and how that's worked, right? And so the old system heavily engaged SAEM partners. And so there was a lot of guest stars and a lot of guest speakers and all of that stuff. And so you all probably visited one or taught one and had lots of visitors, right? So that's one. So what we shifted to in a pilot last fall was something that was academically topic focused, and I'll show you what some of the topics are in a second so you can see what that looks like. So it's mostly faculty members or lecturers teaching something that they're interested in a 2-credit format to get students excited about some sort of academic topic, whatever that might be. It fits within core area B2 for 2 credits, which is in and of itself a weird thing because there's not a lot of 2-credit classes lying around. There are fewer 1 credit. But it fits in area core B2, so that's an important shift. The third thing is that, and this is the part that I'm here to talk to you a little bit more about, in the pilot there was a significant shift away from SAEM partnership. So there were far fewer guest speakers and far fewer sort of like road shows that were done, which inherently is a problem. And I'll be the first to tell you that, and we kind of knew that was going to happen with the pilot, but we needed to get faculty members excited about it, and we kind of needed them to tell us that we needed SAEM, and they did. So now they're all excited about what we're going to do this year, which I will show you here in a second. I will warn you that the XIDS 2002 course number will hopefully be a thing of the past. It currently stands for Interdisciplinary Studies 2002, which is just sort of the university generic course marker. If you need to sort of make something work that fits in the core, you can use it, but that's not a permanent thing. So if it's named something else or rebranded as something else, that's merely just to get its own unique code. So if you hear a new thing, we're doing the same thing, we're just calling it something that has its own name, so just be warned. Some quick statistics for this fall. So this fall we have 55 unique sections of first-year seminar, which is slightly better than we've done in the last couple of years. We've got 1 section offered in Noonan, we probably could have 3 or 4. We've got 1 section offered online, we probably could have 20. We've got 20 students per section, which is probably the lowest seat count of any course on campus, which is great. It's good faculty-student interaction. And we've got 1,100 total seats offered now. And as of orientation session 7 coming up at the end of the month, there's only 67 seats left. So the sections are popular, we're doing okay. We probably could have a lot more sections, but we're not quite at a place where we're ready for that. My goal would be to have 100 sections in the fall of 19. And that will get us to a point where every student that wants to take one should have one. Not every student wants to take one, and frankly in 2018, so many students bring so many credits with them that if you've got 60 high school credits, you probably don't need first year seminar, you probably need poli-sci 2000, whatever, right? You probably should just move on to some sort of program. We're going to be okay with some of those things. So the goal is to expand, which is part of my role here other than informing you what's happening. So the instructors we've got this fall, we've got 48 faculty members from various disciplines all over campus. I think we've got every college, a good swath of departments. There's folks from all over the place. The provost is teaching a section. We've got several other academic affairs folks teaching a section, so everybody's playing along. We've got 6 SAEM folks, including a division director. We've got folks everywhere, which is great. Some topics, so if you want to get an idea of what we're doing, here are some of the 54 topics that are taught. What do you know about the death penalty? What do you know about sports society and culture? What do you know about UWG campus history, speaking of dialect? games of storytelling, we've got Harry Potter sections, we've got Hunger Games sections, we've got all the stuff taught by faculty members all over campus. So it's much more about an academic engagement type of idea, which for the most part students have found to be enjoyable. I say for the most part on purpose, because you know how students are. So the last piece that I want to share with you, that's probably the most important one for this fall, is that we are moving back to integrating SAEM core functions into first year seminar. Because for me, as a former student affairs professional and former student affairs faculty member, I understand how critical it is to get students engaged with student affairs folks early, and we have to give them course credit for it, otherwise they won't do it unless they're desperate, and we would like for them to do it before they are desperate. So this fall we've identified what I would call 5 like Maslow's hierarchy of retention needs areas. And we're going to have students attend each of these areas and get course credit for attendance. It's not extra credit, it's a part of their course grade. All of the faculty members have consented to giving up their course grades so that I can force students to go do all this stuff. So it's going to be a wild experiment, but I think it's going to be a win-win. The students will get exposed to things that are good for them. The faculty members don't have to do any work, and we love that. So that's great. So the 5 areas are wellness, and in the wellness component part, students will be asked to go to the Health and Wellness Fair or attend one of 5 sessions that Terry Ducker has brilliantly put together around sort of like mental health and wellness and sort of being a human being in the UWG world. We've got active learning, which is mostly being held together by the CAS folks, and students can either go to academic coaching or they can go to one of the sessions that Stormy Cinda's put together that has snacks and delicious treats and stuff about time management and all the things that students want to know in a time-delivered manner, right? So if they do either of those things, they get credit. The Writing Center, Dwayne has graciously offered to allow students to either attend a Writing Center appointment or go to, if you've ever been in a class with Dwayne, he does a What Do You Need to Know About the Writing Center Roadshow. Well, he used to do 200 of those a semester. He's going to do 5 for us. And so Dwayne and I are best friends now because I just saved him about 50 hours. So he's going to do really large, broad, to like 250 students at a time. What is the Writing Center? How does it help you? So if a student does either of those 2 things, they get credit. Financial responsibility, there's a lot of dialogue about students not necessarily knowing if they're managing their money or their loans or those types of things well. And I think if we were to dig down deep enough in the retention things, our first or second semester students might have mismanaged money just enough to miss second semester payments by just enough. So we're going to try to help students learn some budgeting stuff. So students can either go to financial aid and work with one of the Land's folks, or in sort of financial coaching, or they can go to one of several financial literacy workshops put on by financial aid. So those are 2 options. And the last category is civility and citizenship. Students can either go to the Student Involvement Fair and sort of get engaged and sort of do the thing and swipe and see all the stuff that's on campus. They can go to one of 3 civility workshops put on by Eve Rose and her folks over in CDI, including the Chief Diversity Officer of the Atlanta Hawks, talking about sort of the financial ramifications of if your organization makes a civility boo-boo in public and how many millions of dollars that costs. And then the last is, because it's an election year, the political science department is going to do a how to vote, how to inform yourself how to vote, how to register, and all that stuff, because I think it's really important for students to know, because this election might be important if you pay attention to those types of things. So those are some options. So if students do all 5 of these categories, this is 15% of their course grade. I will admit that this is probably not an exhaustive or all-inclusive list of all the things that students could and should do in their first semester, but we had to start somewhere. And so I'm partially here to ask your feedback, not like one-on-one here, but if you have feedback about this, I would gladly talk to anybody after this about things they think that should be here that are not, and sort of how this goes, because this is a pretty wild experiment. I don't know anybody else doing it this way, so we'll kind of figure this out. My last piece is, so there are lots of ways for you to engage with first year seminar if you like. Just because it lives in academic affairs now does not mean you're not welcome. I am a student affairs person at heart. That's where I spent most of my early life. So there are options. So you can teach a section of first year seminar. If you have a master's degree, if you're exempt, if you're not exempt, you are eligible. Everybody who has a master's degree can teach a course. Now, depending on your exempt or non-exempt status, your compensation is a little different. And that's what's going to be my job for the next 3 months to figure out how to work that out. But you can get paid $1,500 to teach the course, regardless of your contract, if you have a master's degree. Straight up. You heard it here first. I heard it from HR before that. So, that's that. So you all can teach a course, and we pay $1,500, plus we pay a $250 stipend for coming to the course development workshop, so it's worth $1,750 if you're interested in that kind of thing. So there is a little bit of money in it, not probably enough, but a little bit to make it worth it, right? So you all work with students in a far more one-on-one capacity than we do. So your ears are really helpful. If you hear students say, this is the worst thing that I've ever done in my life, I would love to hear that because they're probably not going to tell me that. My students would tell me that. So if you're hearing things or you're hearing patterns, it would be really helpful for me to know because some of that feedback is stuff that is not going to come to me. They're going to sugarcoat it and be like, oh yeah, it's okay. And that just isn't going to help us figure this out. If this doesn't work, I would rather know so we can do something else. Because the goal is to do something that sort of meets students where they're at and doesn't necessarily put burden on faculty members that in some cases are teaching 4 other classes. So we're trying to meet folks in the middle. So if you can help me out and listen and tell me what you hear, that would be great. The last piece is this Wolf Experience Supplement Program is pretty wild and weird. If it works, I would love to hear it. If it doesn't, I would love to hear it, and I would love to hear what you think as we go. And that could include content, delivery, all the stuff. So you're sort of much more connected with the good feedback loops. If you hear anything, I would love to hear it. So those are ways you can help. I would love any help you get. I would love to hear any of your perspectives that you have. All of that stuff is great. Like I said, you're welcome to share feedback, come visit, do all the things. If you don't know where Mandeville is, like I didn't, I put it on the map. Yeah, so they said, oh, you're going to Mandeville. I'm like, is that at EWG? There it is. So if you don't know where my office is, there it is. You're welcome to come and share feedback. I would love to hear what you have to say about all of these things as we think about moving this forward. I certainly think there are lots of opportunities. And again, I would love to work with you or any of your offices. I just spoke with some folks yesterday that are talking about putting together an office section of first year seminar where they design it as a group and then they teach 5 individual sections of that thing. So if you're worried about designing a course for the first time, we can do a collective thing. Also, a big part of my job is course design consulting, so I will coach you every step of the way because that's what they think that I'm good at, which I suppose is a good thing, right? So I will help you with all those things. So if you need anything, let me know. I probably can answer one question and then I'm going to get the hook. Are there any questions?
The extracurricular piece of this to the students, how to engage with this?
That's a great question. So how are faculty members going to communicate the 5 areas to students? So in my promise to track everything for them, they have promised to include the supplement sheet. There's like a supplements check sheet that's not quite done, so I couldn't show it to you, in their syllabus so that students have it. And I have a website on the Academic Affairs first year programs sort of set up that will switch to just the supplements once we get to school. So on the syllabus, it will have the link and it will have the full text, so they'll have it. And the faculty members have agreed to play liaison for me. We've also got some communication experiments we're working with the app and some other things we're going to try. So that's all a part of this great experiment, is communicating all of those things. But I'm confident that the faculty members are going to give it good faith because they're excited that I have not had any work for them other than to say, hey, you have to do this, here's the sheet. So we'll see. Again, that's all a part of this experiment. The other thing that I will say is if you hear students that are interested in going to any of those supplements that are not in first year seminar, they're open. We're not kicking anyone out. So all 1.5 students that show up that aren't in first year seminar are welcome. So if you know students that might need some help with one of those areas and you know that event's coming, shuffle them our way. It does not offend me for us to have an extra student. I don't think we're going to be flooded with students. I don't think there's going to be so many people that want to come voluntarily that we're going to have to boot them. It will be fine. So they're more than welcome to participate. It's an all-comers thing. We're just requiring that first year seminar students do them. Cool. I will entertain individual questions by email, phone, whatever else, but I'm going to get out of the way so you can go on through the rest of your stuff. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your help. If you hear anything, I would love to hear it.
All right, it's about time for that activity thing I was talking about. Here we go. All right, so my goal with this activity is one, maybe meet someone new. I think we might can swing it. And two, maybe have a little fun. And not? Okay, awesome. So with your group, if you could, have everyone share, and this is, one table at a time, that'll take forever. So with your table, share your name, your department, and what you're looking forward to this fall. And I'll give you all a few minutes to do that. The latter half of the activity is I need a volunteer. If you made a new friend, if you could tell everyone your friend's name and why they're excited about coming to the fall. what they're excited about. Can you volunteer? I got, ooh, Jason. Do you need a microphone?
This is my friend Felicia. Everyone say hi, Felicia. Don't say bye, Felicia. And she is really excited about her little bundle of joy joining the world. She's from the Enrollment Services Office.
Oh, awesome. Jason, you and Felicia, y'all come up here and pick out your prize. Come. You and your friends. It's a good prize. Yeah, come here. Will, raise your hand. Will, happy prizes. Okay, everybody's wondering what's going on. Okay, so I forgot about this part. Everyone, raise your right hand. Cover up your name tag if you're wearing it. All right, good job. So hold it there, or hold it up, that's good too. And I need one volunteer if you can tell me everyone's name at your table. Everyone's name. Not the front. Oh, here we go. Okay. Do you need a microphone? Okay, here we go.
I'm Erin. This is Stephen from Housing, Emily from Admissions, Diane from Housing, Rose from Academic Advice.
Good job. Don't be salty. There'll be other games another time, right? All right, let me help you out. Okay, awesome. Thank y'all so much for playing along. I hope you met someone new. That was one of my goals, and it sounded like I had a little bit of fun, so I consider that a win. Awesome. Thank you, guys. Okay, awesome. So our next segment, by the way, we had, just so you know, to look forward to another time, some of you might play along some more. We had t-shirts, tumblers, magnets, card decals, the good ones. So yeah, you guys know student affairs, we always have some really good swag. So yeah, stay tuned for, we'll see if that went well, which I think it might, then we may do more things like that moving forward. So we'll see. All right, so the second part of our program today, this would have been where Dr. Whitaker would be here. So he really hates that he couldn't be here to share this piece with you today because this program that was piloted last year was his pride and joy. So a program that he created, planned, marketed, and got to see it come to fruition, which is incredible. So by show of hands, who's heard about Wolf Camp? Yeah, so about like half or more. Okay, awesome. All right, so what have you heard about Wolf Camp? Should you shout it out?
It's a lot of fun.
A lot of fun, that's right. Ooh, that too, moving early, that's true. Yeah, those are both, two huge perks. So yeah, when we're talking to parents and incoming students, because Wolf Camp is specifically designed for the first year student, which was also partially why we did this activity today, because like a lot of first year students, you're meeting someone new, you're not in your comfort zone, you're not at your usual table, and so you might feel a little weird or you might feel excited. So this also kind of gives us the opportunity to kind of sit in the seat of some of our freshman students that are coming in. So this, again, program is designed specifically for first year students, and it's true, they do get to move in early, about a week before classes start, so even before PAC Premiere. We actually have a ceremony after move-in with the parents. So kisses, love you so much, some tears are shed, because that's their farewell from their parents and their family. So we really do more so for the moms, have that ceremony. And then we take them off to Camp Woodland, which a lot of you are familiar with. We like to take student organizations there, which is local-ish, probably like a 20-minute drive with those buses. And we take them there for 3 nights. And we have all sorts of activities from high ropes courses type things, zip lining, there's kayaking. This group really liked to swim. There's a lot of stuff at the pool this time. And so part of it is to just have fun activities available for them to engage with one another. And then the other portion is we have different workshops to teach them what it means to be a wolf. What we might want their wolf experience to look like. So part of that is teaching them traditions, and that's when they first see the bonfire, which remind me to tell you that fun fact later about the bonfire. And then the other part is we do a section on their strengths and their strengths quest. So like, what can they contribute to the pack, right? Because again, that first year, you might have been at the top, right, when you left as a senior at your high school, but now you're kind of back at the bottom. So like, finding yourself and reminding yourself what your strengths are and what you have to contribute is so important. So they do have these workshops along with free time, because again, the overall goal for a wolf camp is for them to create relationships with one another and their peers, and ultimately just have positive experiences with the university. So this is a great chance for them to jumpstart that prior to moving in, meeting their roommate, and kind of being pushed in, with the whole bunch of them coming in on housing. Which special thank you to housing for prepping early for that group, because this year was actually, this past year we had 80 attendants. I'm going to have this slideshow going so y'all can just kind of see the pictures of Wolf Camp last year. So last year we had, that's actually our student leaders. So last year we had about 15 student leaders, and we actually took them on a special training prior. No one was injured, I don't remember. But we took them down to Columbus, so much fun. We did the whitewater rafting thing. It was a little scary at times. They got good photos of that portion. We also did some zip lining. So again, the student leaders were out of their comfort zone. So we kind of reminded them like, hey, you're meeting new people with this, and you're outside your comfort zone, because with every group of 10 or more, someone's scared of heights or swimming or water. And so everyone kind of challenged themselves to try something new, which is great. So myself and Anne Marie and Dr. Whitaker, we took those students down for the training. And then Chris in counseling, it was the four of us who were staff members who were able to co-facilitate Wolf Camp, which was really exciting, because as a staff member, and me being in Newton, they're not really going to see me much. There might have been one or two Newton students. Same for Dr. Whitaker, as a Dean of Students and an AVP. Oh, there it was. As a Dean of Students and an AVP, he's a busy man. You may not see him for a hot second in the campus center or when you're in trouble, right? Same with Anne Marie. So like, you don't see Anne Marie as a student unless you got something not so good maybe going on. And maybe with Chris too, with counseling. I know I'm a firm believer in counseling, so I don't always go when something's wrong, but students may not get a chance to see Chris either in the counseling center. So it gave us opportunity as staff to interact with the students outside of our office and really just be personal with them and let them know that like we are a resource for them and a support for them no matter what. And so those are some of the activities we did. A lot of fun things, a lot of team building. And overall coming up this year, so because it went so well last year, 80 students. I mean, the goal was 100, but 80, wow. Isn't that awesome? Yeah. Ooh, there's one of those high ropes course things. Yeah, that was like a really big scary swing. It was like as high as a electricity pole outside. Ooh, that was high. So with this camp coming up, it's going to be, I have the dates at the end there, August 7th through the 10th. As of right now, we have 60 first-year students, or a little over that, signed up, which is actually right on track because we still have a few more orientations left. And then we actually have all of the student leaders returning who didn't graduate. So that has to say something good, right? That they had a good time. Yeah, clap for them. They did so much work. They gave up 3 days for Wolf Camp and then a day prior for the training. And that's not a paid job. Nope. They just did that because they love West Georgia so much and they see the value. So that just touches me. And so we actually had, all of them are returning that aren't graduating, and then we have double that wanting to come on. So now we're going in with 30 Wolf Camp leaders, which is even more exciting, more opportunity for them to interact with these students who are going to be their peers. And same design for the most part. We got really nothing but great feedback from the students who attended. So again, all sorts of great news and positive things coming from that, which is our goal, right? For students to build relationships and for them to have a positive experience. And that is the overall Wolf experience, right? We're just really looking forward to that. And then my last caveat is how you can get involved. So last year, Dr. Whitaker, myself, and Marie and Chris call us crazy, but we stayed on site for the 3 nights of the camp. So if I say that is an opportunity if you want to do that, think about it. Or if your boss will let you, right? Because I know it's also a really busy time. So that is an option. Or if we actually had a couple staff members just come out for a couple activities. My other half, Brittany, down in Newnan, she came out just for for a few hours for one of our outdoor activities, and she was the MC, and she had a blast. And then we also had a couple staff help out for what would have been the check-in, so that ceremony with the moms and the dads and the tears. We had a check-in prior to that, and so, because you have to sign a lot of waivers when you're doing these scary things. And so we have to have staff members there to make sure we get those sort of things done too. So keep in mind that if you want to just get out of the office, if your supervisor lets you get out of the office during the day or even some of the evenings, reach out to myself or Dr. Whitaker, and we'll even send you the schedule and kind of see what works for you. Because again, this will give you an opportunity as well to interact with students. For some folks who may not see them as much, or like some of us, we only see them when it's bad news, like, I need my loan money, where's it at? So things like that. So giving yourself an opportunity for a positive interaction with a student. So at this time, my other little tidbit, someone didn't remind me, but my memory's working, so that's good. The bonfire, so that's actually a really old tradition that Xavier wanted to bring back and implement into Wolf Camp. And so how cool is it? Raise your hand, did you see the bonfire they did on La Valley this past year? Yeah, you couldn't miss it if you were on campus. It was huge. I mean, really. So how neat was that? But fun fact that it was the Wolf Camp leaders who lit the fire. Yeah, isn't that neat? Because that's something they learned at Wolf Camp and they got really excited about. And so when they heard it was going to be on main campus, we made sure to incorporate them so that they know that they're still a Wolf Camp leader, not just a camp. But while they're here on main campus, right? We have leaders all over our campus, which is incredible. So at this point, are there any questions? Yeah.
I know it's only been a year, but have you looked at the retention numbers for the students that participated last year? Is it higher than?
Right, so okay, her question was about retention. So the students who probably attended Wolf Camp, if they stayed, if they're successful. I don't have those numbers. Xavier might, and it might be too because I know that some of the Wolf Camp leaders attended Wolf Camp. Which is how they kind of heard about it. I don't have specific numbers, but I do have success stories. Like one of our Wolf Camp attendees, he went ahead and was hired on as an orientation leader, which is huge for a freshman to apply and get on staff. And then we had another gentleman. He was our only non-traditional. He was 21, 22, and he even looked a little older. He was more mature, so he wanted to go to Wolf Camp. He's he's also a veteran, so he was I want the experience, so don't count me out. So he signed up for Wolf Camp, had a blast, and now he works here at the URED. I can't think of his name at the moment, but he was also here at 5 a.m., so I got to see him. So that's always a joy too. So I don't know the exact numbers, but I have a few success stories, which is validating to some extent, right? Ooh, we're going to run those numbers. So we're waiting for a special date. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? General question? Yeah.
As I put you on the spot, I was curious if you could give a quick explanation of just the Wolf experience, what that kind of campaign is, and how Wolf Camp integrates with maybe some other things that happen on campus.
Oh yes, because I know. So that's the thing. And thank you for bringing that up. So Wolf experience is it's just and I know we have a website on it somewhere. Yeah, we do. You said I knew we do somewhere. I've only read it a couple times. But the overall, there's a handful of different principles that we want to make sure students incorporate. And correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of it is kind of what Brian mentioned. We want them to learn civility. We want them to learn health management. What it means to be just an awesome human and a citizen. And so these are only, y'all the best. These are only 2 pieces that are offered for the Wolf experience. Because if y'all, have y'all seen the Wolf Experience kind of logos? They're definitely in the campus center. Because I know UREG, they offer all sorts of different neat programs, a lot of the outdoor programs and activities that contribute to the Wolf Experience. Everyone's different in their interests, right? So I can't speak a whole lot, but I do know that there's a website.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up. That was on my mind. Even still a newer concept, so I think we're still tweaking it out. Good question. So the question was, how do students sign up? Because you may have some first years that you interact with, or that you advise while you're at orientation that may ask you. And so there is, it's also available on the website. And they can actually register online, because that's the easiest way to do things, right? And then, just a side note, Wolf Camp isn't free. It does cost a little something. It's around $100 or a little less, but we also share, because that pays for transportation to the camp, feeding you for all those days and nights and snacks. Students have to eat. And so it does cost a little bit, but we also share with students and parents, like, if money's a problem, please just communicate that to Dr. Whitaker, or put it as a note in your registration, and then we don't want students not to come because of financial reasons, right? We don't want them to miss out. So Dr. Whitaker's really good about finding those scholarship pieces in order to get students there, which really has only been a few, which has been great, that all the students who want to go can't go. Good question. Any more questions? Ooh, I'm going to be your new favorite. So I was also tasked with ending the meeting early. But before I do that, I just remembered something. That I wanted to introduce what will be our, or your all-staff committee for the next upcoming year. So, which I think all of you guys are up here. Y'all stand up for me. Ooh, so let's get a round of applause now. So we have Melissa with the Office of Registrar, Yochil in New Student Programs, Dual Enrollment. Yeah, y'all for good people. And then Kate with CSI Volunteer Programs. Will is our co-chair, Financial Aid. And then myself as your chair. So we're actually meeting shortly after this to start doing all this planning for you guys for the upcoming year. Oh, and that's right, Alexis is on the team too, but she just had that little one, so she'll be with us in spirit until she comes back to West Georgia. Thank you. So yeah, give her a round of applause. We're going to do a lot of work today. Awesome. So again, I hope y'all had fun today. I hope you met someone new, and we're leaving out early, so that's exciting. Y'all have a wonderful day. Take care.